songs. They flew over woods and lakes, over seas and lands. Below them roared the wild wind. The wolves howled and the snow crackled over them. Over them flew the black screaming crows, and above all shone the moon, clear and bright. And so Kay passed through the long winter nights. And by day he slept at the feet of the Snow Queen. But how fared little Grinda during Kay's absence? What had become of him, no one knew, nor could anyone give the slightest information, excepting the boys who said that he tied his sled to another very large one, which had driven through the street and out the town gate. No one knew where it went. Many tears were shed for him, and little Grinda wept bitterly for a long time. She said she knew he must be dead, that he was drowned in the river which flowed close to the school. Indeed, those long winter days were very dreary, but the last spring came with warm sunshine. Kay is dead and gone, said little Grinda. I don't believe it, said the sunshine. He is dead and gone, she said to the sparrows. We don't believe it, they replied. And at last little Grinda began to doubt herself. I will put on my new red shoes, she said one morning, those that Kay has never seen, and then I will go down to the river and ask for him. It was quite early when she kissed her old grandmother, who was still asleep. Then she put on her red shoes and went quite alone out of the town gates toward the river. Is it true that you have taken my little playmate away from me? She said to the river. I will give you my red shoes if you will give them back to me. And it seemed as if the waves nodded to her in a strange manner. Then she took off her red shoes, which she liked better than anything else, and threw them both into the river. But they fell near the bank, and the little waves carried them back to the land, just as if the river would not take from her what she loved best, because they could not give her back little Kay. Little Kay. But she thought the shoes had not been thrown out far enough. Then she crept into a boat that lay among the reeds, and threw the shoes again from the further end of the boat into the water. But it was not But before she could sew, it was more than a yard from the bank and drifted away faster than ever. Then little Grinda was very much frightened and began to cry. But no one heard her except the sparrows, and they could not carry her to land. But they flew along the shore and sang as if to confront her. Here we are, here we are. The boat floated with the stream. Little Grinda sat quiet, still with only her stockings on her feet. The red shoes floated after her, but she could not reach them before the boat kept up so much in advance. The banks on each side of the river were very pretty. There were beautiful flowers, old trees, spoiling fields, in which cows and sheep sheep were grazing. But not a man to be seen. Perhaps the river will carry me to Little Kay, thought Grinda, and then she became more cheerful, and raised her head, and looked at the beautiful green banks, and so the boat sailed for hours. At length she came to a large cherry orchard, in which stood a small red house with strange red and blue windows. It had also a vaulted roof, and outside were two wooden soldiers that presented arms to her as she sailed past. Grinda called out to them, for she thought they were alive. But of course they did not answer, and as the boat drifted near the shore, she saw what they really were. Then Grinda called still louder, and there came a very old, poor little child. Said the old woman, "How did you manage to come all this distance into the wide world on such a rapid rolling stream?" And so the old woman walked in the water, seized the boat with her crutch, drew it to land, and lifted Grinda out. And Grinda was glad to feel herself on dry ground, although she was rather afraid of the strange old woman. "Come and tell me who you are," she said, "and how came you here? How came you here?" Then Grinda told her everything, while the old woman shook her head and said, And when she had finished, Grinda asked if she had not seen Little Kay, and the old woman told her he had not passed by the way, but he very likely would come, so she told Grinda not to be sorrowful, but to taste the cherries and look at the flowers. They were better than any picture book, for each of them could tell a story. Then she took Grinda by the hand and led her into the little house, and the old woman closed the door. The windows were very high, and as the panes were red and blue and yellow, well, that's all we have for our show today, folks.
All right, so that was Snow Queen by Hans Christian Andersen, and the Po Baby has gotten affected by Kentucky weather, y'all. If you have not experienced Kentucky weather, you don't want to. We really went from summer to winter in a matter of days. But thank you guys for tuning in to Dee's Corner here on Power 106.3. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dee's Reading Corner. That is DEES Reading Corner, and on Power 106.3 FM on your radio dial, online at www.kyheartmedia.com. Also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Power 106 FM KY Radio. We would like to again thank our sponsors, Mary Walls Media Brand Group and Diamond Elite Design Customs. What's next week's book? What is the selection for next week?
Well, next week's book, we are doing Marvel, and then after that we're doing DC.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so I'm excited. I know y'all like they're past the 8 o'clock hour, but we can do that. So I'm excited. Real quick, y'all. So I need all my comic book fans to be on top of this. We're going to have to bring Big Doe in on this one. Oh. And we're going to have to bring in Greenberg Comics on this. So shout outs to Greenberg Comics. Shout out to Big Doe of 502's Dopest and the Throwback House Party. We're going to have to bring our fellas back up here for this because they were a part of our GalaxyCon Louisville experience, and they are like the biggest comic book heads we freaking know. But we are going to be doing a Marvel versus DC comic series. So we're going to talk about Marvel next week, and then the week after that, we're going to talk about DC. So I'm going to make sure I post up the graphic novel that we're going to be reading from each week. So we're going to get y'all those flyers ASAP so y'all can go ahead and read up. But I need y'all to send us questions. I need y'all to send y'all opinions, y'all thoughts, because we are going to read those live online next week and the week after. So we're going to be talking all things Marvel, all things DC for the next 2 weeks. So go follow us right now on Instagram and Facebook at D's Reading Corner. Send us your thoughts, whatever your opinions, whatever it is you want to say. We are going to shout you guys out live over the air for the next 2 weeks. So definitely tune back in at 7 p.m. here on Power 106.3. I'm going to let Mr. Animated close us all the way out, and I will read with you guys later.
That's my catchphrase.
I know that's his line.
Come on.
I've always wanted to say it. Okay, my bad, y'all. All right, y'all. We'll see y'all next week. Go ahead, Mr. Animated.
Well, this was D's Corner. I will read with you later. Not do it better.
All right, Mr. Animated. Yes, he does do it better. Actually, you know what? You have the greatest voice when you say that. Why don't you go ahead and say it for the people?
Well, I'm Mr. Animated. This is D's Corner. I will read with you later.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys.